Okay, hello. So we're gonna do things a little bit differently. Um, Usually I do this at home, but I've been working every single night this week, so I sleep during the day. So today I am doing it at work. I'm technically on a break now, but since we don't have anybody working the front window at triage in the lobby, that's where I'm at. But we're really slow right now. So I have all my notes here. Okay, so for question number one, communicable disease is a disease that's obviously like contagious. It could be spread whether from person to person, animal to person. It could be spread from touching contaminated objects, and then that's how you get the disease. So, like I said, it could be from that. They're typically caused from like different types of bacteria, viruses, fungi, or parasite. So an example would be COVID. That is a virus, and it was spread from person to person, also from animal to person, and or from touching contaminated objects. So environmental factors. One is temperature. Typically, in certain types of temperatures, bacteria or viruses can travel more, or they can also die in certain temperatures. So that can be a big factor. Another thing is like the water. Contaminated water can be a big thing that causes the spread of communicable disease. So if there's flooding or hurricanes when the water's contaminated, that can cause the spread of it too. So for emergence, things that can make a the communicable disease more emergent is how dangerous it is, how rapid it's spreading, and then what percent of people are getting exposed, or what percent of people exposed are actually getting symptoms and getting sick with it. So just basically like how much is it affecting the population is going to determine like how important it is. Yeah, so to prepare the public, I think the most important thing is to just educate the public as much as you can, keep them informed on everything, because a lot of times there's nothing scarier than the unknown. So just making sure that they are up to date with everything that's going on. Also, it could be important is to tell them what symptoms to look for, to see if they should monitor the symptoms with themselves, and then what to do if they are exposed or get the symptoms. So if they need a quarantine, if they need to seek medical care, get treatments, depending on how severe these symptoms are too. So, so three things that I learned from this semester. One is I always kind of knew about it, but we definitely went in more detail about the different forms of prevention. So the primary is like getting ahead of the game, making sure that you just educate the people before they ever have to like a disease or something. Secondary is screening, and then tertiary is like the actual like preventing further damage if they already have it. And then the second thing I learned is the different effects of intervention. So like the downstream interventions are really only affecting like one individual person. Midstream is kind of affecting a certain specific group, and then upstream is affecting like a bigger population. So definitely didn't know anything about that before, so that's a cool thing to know, especially working in the emergency department and just being exposed to a lot of different things. And then number three, I really liked our poverty simulation, and I feel like I learned a lot from that, and how like once you start going into that level where you're in poverty, how hard it is to like actually get out of it, and then how they start prioritizing like other things over their own health and healthcare, how no one went to the physician during that whole time, even when they had kids and stuff. Like you couldn't do that, so because they didn't have the money. So that was just definitely an eye-opener, especially like I said, working in the ED and being exposed to all that. And then on top of everything, I did just have my last clinical. It was super fun. I got to work inside an office the whole time, which was a little different than what I'm used to, because you're used to following a nurse that's doing actual nursing skills. But it was like a triage nurse on the phone telling people where to go, about patients at home hospice, and then case manager, where it basically runs a group of nurses and just keeping up with those and helping them when needed. So that was cool, going to like an office kind of nursing. So yeah, But other than that, if you guys want to see a quick tour of the ED without any patient's information, no HIPAA violations, these are our quick chairs. This is where we do, like, if we just need to quickly get them back and get some blood draw or get a bag of fluid if they're in the lobby. We'll do it back here, more blood draw. And then we have individual rooms for that before they go back into the lobby. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.